You. Can you please be seated? Thank you. Welcome to CAM's Research Showcase Day as part of the R&I Research Week. My name is Muhure Mamabolo from the Department of Business Management, School of Management Sciences, also part of CAMS. I'll hand over to Dr. Untitled Marco, my co-program director. Thank you.
Good morning, colleagues. I must say it's really lovely to see you all again. We haven't seen each other, some of us, for a very long time. I have a very big ask of you today. I want us all to pretend that we are in 1920 and there are no projectors and screens. Unfortunately, we cannot get the screen issue resolved, but if you would like to follow the presentation, you are more than welcome to do so on the link provided on YouTube via email yesterday. There is a slight delay, but I think we can work with that. But as I have been introduced by Mr. Mamabolo, my name is Untitled Marco from the Department of Applied Management. And in our midst today, we have college management, we have colleagues joining us in person and online, we have our keynote speakers, we have our valued guests and some of our students. And to our speakers on the program, I'd like to believe that Mr. Muhure and I are very nice people. But if you see us raise our hand, it's not to praise you, it's to tell you you're running out of time. Please bear with us. We are on very strict time. With this year's theme being Creative Research to Drive Sustainable Societies, we aim to explore the transformative potential of research and innovation in addressing and presenting challenges facing our global community. To officially welcome us today to this College of Economic and Management Sciences showcase, I would like to call upon the captain steering the School of Economic and Financial Sciences, Prof. Dr. Jethro Godi. Thank you.
Thank you so much, program directors. Good morning, colleagues. Good morning, colleagues.
Good morning.
Afsheni. Sanbonani. Thank you so much. Let me acknowledge our VC, Prof. Linkabula in absentia, Vice Principal Research, Postgrad Studies, Innovation and Commercialization, Prof. Meyiwa, University Management, distinguished guests, academics, students. Let me also give a special acknowledgement to our keynote speakers, Prof. Aaron Lungada Msakanda from the Carleton University, and Ms. Sitembile Ntombela, the CEO of Brand South Africa. A warm welcome to everyone to the 6th Annual Research and Innovation Showcase. On behalf of the College of Economic and Management Sciences, my name is Ntwanano Jethro Godi, and I'm extremely honored to be welcoming everyone in this grand celebration. In our college research, innovation, human capital development, enrich science, generate new knowledge, and improve quality of life in the service of humanity. It contributes not only to sustainable development goals, but also the transformation of Africa. Collaboration are extremely important to us as an institution of higher learning, and this showcase seeks to achieve that, amongst other things that are lined up and which will be presented to you today. Allow me to officially welcome all of you, and please feel free to engage, but most importantly, please feel free to do collaborations and commercialize your business with us. Please know that we've got a series of research seminars, webinars, workshops, and conferences planned for the rest of the year, and we hope that all of you here will be part of it. In closing, colleagues, allow me to also extend our gratitude to the College Research Office and the organizing team that worked so hard to put this showcase together. We really appreciate the effort exerted. You did it. Please enjoy the research, and unfortunately, not the innovation displays, but we've got a couple of displays in the foyer. Please do enjoy that, and let's have a fruitful engagement. I thank you.
Another round of applause for Professor Godi. Colleagues, a very important announcement here. I've been sent to inform you that these flags represent the countries of representatives who are here with us. This is still UNISA Hall. We are not in any way implying that this is a government building. Thank you. I'd like to call upon the stage Head of Office for Graduate Studies and Research, Professor Marcia Mkansi. Please give her a round of applause.
To our program directors, Dr. Marco and Mr. Mamabula, and our distinguished keynote speakers, Prof. Sakanda and Ms. Ntobela,
CEO of Brand South Africa, to our distinguished guests, colleagues, and honorable academics, our postgraduate students, our PhD, and all other academic community. Good morning. Before I take the pleasure of highlighting our key research and innovation milestones, please allow me to reiterate Mr. Mamabula's appreciation to our organizers. We had the Research and Innovation Organizing Committee from different schools and different departments who have made this day possible. We also have a team of administrators, research assistants, and other colleagues that came together to make sure we have a successful R&I showcase. To them, we really appreciate that. And your hard work in organizing the 2024 R&I showcase that simultaneously celebrates our 150 years of contribution to knowledge and to our communities. Equally, let me reiterate that the flags represent our footprint in Africa in terms of students, research, and our impact, and not necessarily here to highlight any government officials. Our research and innovation goes beyond merely showcasing our work. It is an open invitation to industry, and we are honored to have Brand SA as a partner for the college. We invite government, we invite NGOs, other universities to collaborate with us, to invest, to generate IP with us, and to co-fund our projects. We are dedicated to advancing solutions that addresses sustainable development goals at the national, international level, and also at a community level. We offer numerous postdoctorate opportunities, as well as master's and doctoral bursaries, and we are seeking outstanding students to join our faculties, our departments, and we are here to make that open invitation. Today, we are showcasing some key highlights and key milestones for the college. Some are innovation displayed at the foyer, our partnership with academic stakeholders, including publishers, our work from different colleges. We also going to present to you different milestones by different schools, from developing interest and encouraging research into neuroscience in business, business management, decision science, departments of marketing, and Department of Industrial and Organizational Psychology. We have climate research, championed by the ICC and Prof. Namu. We have our development of qualification suits in Masters in Global Sustainable Challenges. We have the adoption of some of our innovation, including the Research Method Index, the Academic Rating Index by different universities in South Africa as well as abroad. The collaboration between African Applied Chemicals and the University of South Africa. They are based at the CSIR, and they are also canvassing the kind of technologies and the work we do with them at the foyer. And our partners with many other communities, including our community engagement project. The list is not limited to this key milestone. As our presenters continue to showcase, you will hear quite a lot. We are inviting you once more to collaborate with us, to partner in our pursuit of creating creative research to drive innovative, sustainable communities and societies. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof. Mkansi. I believe Prof. Mkansi is very instrumental in ensuring that our college remains committed to identifying and generating African solutions to ensure that we become a leading role player and producer of research and knowledge, and I think she deserves another round of applause. Colleagues, please remember to use the hashtag UNISA RNI Week, UNISA 150, to let the world know what we are getting up to today as a college, as a university, as a people, as a community. We now move on to our very first keynote address. I think as academics and people in general, we understand the importance of branding, and our research really is our brand as academics. Ms. Sithembile Ntombela is a consummate marketing-led executive with over 25 years' experience in consumer marketing, nation branding in the private and public sector. She honed her classical marketing experience and building brands at blue-chip brand-led global and African organizations such as Unilever, Tiger Brands, Nampak, and Brand South Africa. In industry, she is respected for her results-driven approach, decisive leadership, and building high-performance teams. She is now the acting CEO of Brand South Africa. A chartered marketer, Ms. Sithembile Ntombela is currently pursuing her Doctor of Business Administration at Mancosa University. Can we please give a warm UNISA round of applause to our keynote address, Ms. Sithembile.
Oh, you'll be fine. Yeah, I'll have to use this. Okay. So it won't project, right?
Unfortunately.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellencies. It's an honor to have Brand South Africa sharing their story in the midst of people perhaps who have never heard of Brand South Africa. I was hoping to really sweep you off your feet, but technology is unpredictable. I will then I have to invite you to my imaginary land, and you'll have to walk with me and bear with my voice. I was actually thinking of doing less talking and more of a show and tell. But be that as it may, I'm a marketer. We always improvise, and there's always a plan. Perhaps I'll start by giving the context of who Brand South Africa is. 2002, the then president had a vision. If you remember, we were known in the global world through one narrative, and that narrative was about apartheid state. So this president thought it's an ideal and opportune moment at that time to launch an entity that will spear champion the agenda of South Africa domestically, internationally, and in the African continent. That's how we were born. And all we do from our mandate's perspective is to ensure that, using the layman's term, the world look at South Africa and they are in awe and they continue to be admired by the work that we do. It's a two-pronged mandate. Externally, we promote and we position this country as an attractive investment destination. I know some of you might be saying, interesting, but it is exactly what we've been doing for the past 20 years. And at home, we inspire citizens to rally behind the brand so that they can support how the brand is projected internationally. Why am I sharing you this? Because we often isolate, and as a people in South Africa, we work in fragmented approach, which then dilutes our impact and our ability to show up in the global community. And I'm hoping after today's short address from myself, you would actually get a bit of an open mind and be more open to actually come to Brand South Africa as well, now that you understand what do we do. And we really project the image so that we advance the country's long-term competitiveness. So I ask people all the time, think image, reputation, think competitiveness. We are talking marketing. But to spear champion this agenda of marketing, we have to work with your good selves, institutions in South Africa, so that each institution is also able to show their case and tell their stories, leveraging and leaning on us. But I thought, let me also start with an insight. I've been asked to share how we can position UNISA brand, particularly from an innovation science perspective. But we have to understand the consumer insights. Those that are in marketing will know you can't produce anything nor develop a strategy if you don't understand what the insight is. And the insight is very simple in as far as the academic space is concerned. International students are always on the lookout for the best countries to study abroad. Thankfully, our world is full of countries, is full of fantastic array of destinations. Whether you're looking for big cities, small town, for culture, for heritage, for innovation, hot weather, climate, or interesting people, there's always somewhere for everyone. And that somewhere has to be South Africa as well, being the destination that starts to infiltrate the top 20 of countries to study for. And I will show you that that is happening. We are beginning to move that needle. So let's look at how UNISA then can enhance the brand. It's very important first to be known who you are and what you stand for. Therefore, articulation and communication of the vision of UNISA is important. The articulation of the value proposition, because that's what's going to set you apart from the rest, is very important. So it might be difficult and different faculties, but how do they look like when they're all merged? And what is that value proposition, and how does it actually hang and complement the vision of UNISA? That is what we need to get right. Collaborations with strategic partners is very important, because teamwork, it gives you impact, reach, and influence. Perhaps we know, like Brand South Africa, we don't have so much financial muscle. We look like we have, and I'll tell you why we look like we have. It's because we've been working smart. Let me be confident. We have been working smart to get the right partners on board that are going to amplify our voice, our mission, as well as our vision. So collaborations are very important, and collaborations, I had made an example you would have seen. I said Brand South Africa. I think there's a magic that UNISA and Brand South Africa could possibly put together and come up that would really ruffle feathers of other institutions and make them want to come and join our path and our journey. Collaborations also give birth to co-creation and innovation. And I believe this is an institution that highly believes in making a change, not only in South Africa, but in the African continent. We need to be agile in understanding global issues. Very, very important. How do you innovate when you are operating in a myopic view? So we have to get out and try and be heads up, in fact, steps ahead to understand what keeps the world awake. And we also have to be in tune with countries' challenges. What do I mean? We know we always talk about a South Africa that is faced with inequality, with poverty, unemployment, but there are innovations that can be given to our students that can actually propel and deal with these issues. And more so, which is very fundamentally important, is anything that UNISA does must have that social impact. You know, we live in an age where people no longer cares about the bells and whistles, but they look at what is it that you do that impacts the community. So I think the innovation also that we do will have to do that. Understanding your why, I spoke to it. Vision of UNISA says, enabling scholarship through superior academic innovation and research, thereby contributing to the rapidly evolving discipline of communication in Africa and beyond. And I'm really articulating this, and I'm juxtaposing to our own vision as Brand South Africa. Our vision, simply put, says to create a nation brand that admires its people, that inspires its people, and is admired globally. So the takeout from the external world is admiration. But at home, what we're trying to do is to inculcate that spirit of inspiration. And I'm sure most of you see it. They see it largely in sports, when we seem to do the most impossible. The determination, our Ubuntu cooperation. We see it in the creative art space. In fact, if I were to share with you a brand association of the country, it's driven by creative arts, by tourism, by sports, by heritage and culture. Then you start to see universities coming up, very small technology and innovation, and that it says we need to rethink and shift focus in terms of how we project this country that we call South Africa. And in changing that lies an opportunity to collaborate with institutions such as UNISA. I'll go back to the global issues. We know the cost of living is very high. We know the unemployment, poverty. It's not only South Africa. Ipsos actually that they do a study, and the study is anchored on what worries the world, which is the top 5 contents. And let me tell you, in 2003, in July, which was the last study, the top was the inflation, the top was, the corruption, and then the third one was crime and violence. And we know we are competing with countries that are in the developed economies where they are by far. But you look at the traces of who developed this innovation to combat these disablers. It was championed by the institutions of higher learning. An example is University of Australia, whom we got to know what they do by following what Unlimited Australia does. Unlimited Australia is an entity that is similar to Brand South Africa, and they've positioned themselves in 3 pillars: science, innovation, and they've positioned with tourism, and they've said they're going to be an investment destination, and they do that very well. They are not wide. So that is why I'm bringing these issues that is very important to understand, even global risks, because global risks are very, I think, are a good indicator of where we should be channeling our thoughts, of where we should be channeling our curriculum. If you look right now, the environmental issues are a burden, not to South Africa, but globally. But what kind of innovation, from a science and technology perspective, can UNISA really be a champion and provide solutions for a better Africa and a better world? The time is now to be very much awake in terms of what is happening out there. So I had an example of innovation that have really been inspired by students and inspired by certain institutions of learning. I'll walk you through them because I can't really do a nice show and tell. But if we start, for instance, with the Meerkat, which is in the Northern Cape, that has set us apart from the rest. And it was a collaboration of many people, including the institutions of higher learning. Not only has it been a global positioning innovation, but it has created employment opportunities. That is where we should be channeling our thoughts. There's a book that speaks to wearing 6 hats, and it defines the white, the green, the black. And I think we have to be a nation that wears constantly that white hat and continue to wear the blue, because that's where our innovation and drive is going to come from. Another innovation was done by Professor Mashudu, whom you might have also heard of, the world's first 3D printed middle ear transplant. Why am I raising this? Because it makes our job much easier to complement the work that you do. We take this, we become communicators. In your vision, you say you are communicators and you believe in communication. We are here as Brand South Africa to amplify that vision and bring it to life. But we need those stories of innovation that is being driven at the institution level, but perhaps is not celebrated. So we have to lean on our shoulders to do that work for you. The third one, which I also find quite pertinent, given the challenges of energy, is the cheap solar power, which was also developed, or rather founded by Professor Vivian Albert in 2005. Did he know then? But it speaks to the ability for having foresight. I spoke about having foresight. You read where the direction of the global space and the environment is heading towards. And then you start to channel your thoughts and encourage the institutions, including students themselves, to come up with such groundbreaking. Not only energy is becoming a South African issue, but we see it globally as well, particularly with the war that has been happening in the UK and Russia. It has spilled into many ripple effects that are now propelling the academic students, the academic fraternity, to champion the agenda of innovation. It won't come from government. So I'm half government, I'm half private, because President SA is supposed to be neutral. That is why I'm here as well, to say, how do we change this and influence this perception? There are other projects I'm sharing from a University of Cape Town recently in 2018. And these projects we've been in our pipeline as Brand South Africa. We channel them through our media partners. Some of you know BBC, but that's where we've been curating a narrative of a South Africa that inspires you in different ways in multiple sectors. And the first BioBrick that was also done by the master student at UCT, Susan Lambert, is beginning to take traction. Why do we think that? It's because we know of the environmental issues. And this Lambert student, and together with her supervisor, they spent many hours at the lab trying to come up with this invention. to make sure that they are aligned with the sustainability and equitable future, because every sector right now is busy with ESG. And every sector is busy trying to find ways of sustainable solutions. There's also another one from VERT, the Pella Box. It was solving an insight based on people that actually get tired of queuing. And what they did, they digitalized a system. They created a system where you get an SMS, you go into, imagine a post box office, you punch in your PIN, and you hear where you get your prescription. It seems small, but it makes such an impact for people that really cannot afford to be waiting in long queues because time is of essence. There's also another one, the nanotechnology by UJ. Again, that one was in 2005. But right now it's getting an uptake internationally, because if we look at the digital supply tool that we use as Brand South Africa to say what is the world searching when they look at South Africa, they're starting to look at issues such as innovation, technology, science, and how advanced we are as South Africa. And then the very young student at the ESCOM Expo, she launched what you call fireproof shacks, because we know, I spoke about inequality in South Africa, and a lot of our community, it's a reality, they're still living in shacks. And we know during winter what happens, the widespread fires. And this child, because of her circumstances, also thought, actually, why don't I just come up with an innovation that will have a layer within this zinc that I used to build the shack to actually be proof for fire. And that's something that's very much now happening, and it's gaining traction in the market with the people that are actually building shacks. Who would have known that this innovation would have come from an 18-year-old student? So for us as Brand South Africa, that's when we get goosebumps. When we take these stories and we package them and we tell the world, and we become your communicators. The last one that I'd like to share with you is from the twins from Hammanskraal. They basically took what you call, they created a built-in X-ray with the glasses. And these glasses essentially can, for the rural areas, communities, they can dictate and tell what is the symptom, what is the problem with the eyes of your ordinary consumers. And for me, this is one story that I thought, Brenda say, if you're not taking it out there to the world, then the world won't take us seriously. And these twins have received massive funding. They are from Hammanskraal, and they really have showed the world that South Africa is a country that inspires you in different ways. So why am I sharing this? I'm sharing because there's always a link. Managing a country brand is not a function of Brand South Africa and 55 people that are at Brand South Africa. It propels us to work together and say, if we are to fight the giants of the developed economies, your brand Chinas, your incredible Indias, what will we do? It starts with strategic partnerships to build a reputable nation brand. So I had a slide that shows that if you listen to the tool that we use in terms of the external stakeholders, they say South Africa's reputation is very good. In fact, it went up by 13 points from a 45 to the previous study, and now we are sitting at about 55. And if you look at the drivers of South Africa's reputation, as I said, education level, but it's not just education, it's varsities. So, and I'll go down to the next slide to just explain what is it about universities that the world is looking for. The other things that I spoke about, it's our ability to fight for global issues, and stand for human rights. So our constitution, once again, seemingly seems to be working in our favor. So in comparing our 22 results with 2023 results, it is very clear there's something that we call brand love mark, and it's benchmarked at a 3.5. And this is study, by the way, I'll leave this with you because I think it's going to be very pertinent for the institution. If you look at the place to study as South Africa, definitely we are so close to the 3.5 mark of the brand love. We are sitting at about 3.10, which is something that is quite good because it says institutions in South Africa have been doing one great job in positioning themselves. And as they're positioning themselves, they are also positioning the country. But I don't think you were thinking in that frame of thought. That is why I'm here, to actually just plant that seed, that can we not build on this together and enhance what the world is looking for in South Africa, because when you really look at it, universities are underpinned by exchange programs and financial aid. That's the first thing with the highest mark. The second one, it looks at the degrees and the courses and the diversity thereof in terms of what is it that we are offering, juxtaposing it to where the world is going. And then it looks at the field of studies, and then it looks at the environment. The environment, which in brackets speaks to the culture, the people, the standard of living, the quality of life in South Africa. So those are very important dynamics and dimensions that I think UNISA can also intertwine within their communication strategy as they are promoting the UNISA brand and building this brand. But also it will find resonance with the respective departments and business partners, because I think institutions are meant to have business partners, because business, they have money, number one, and number two, they can really, we've demonstrated as a country that the public and private partnerships, they really work. Let's rewind. Remember what happened in the days of COVID, when for a change, we were given daily record, breaking news of where we are stacking up in terms of numbers, in terms of infections, etc. But take that very same model, replicate it to make sure that from things such as science and technology, from things such as academic institutions, such as financial institutions, how are we faring and how are we communicating well with our people? Because we can't seem to be the nation that always speaks to the elitists. We have to package and speak to the layman on the streets and package this thing. And I think we do have that muscle as Brand South Africa to crystallize this. And in ending, I really want to emphasize, there's a famous quote that says, if you do not tell your stories, someone else will. I take it even further. I say someone else will, and they will tell wrong, unfounded stories. So I really hope that UNISA, as we are celebrating the 30 years of democracy as a country, but UNISA, I understand, is about 150 plus years old. What a beautiful heritage brand. Can this heritage brand take itself seriously, that we are and command the space, that we've been around the block, but perhaps you haven't had the chance to find these partners such as Brand South Africa that can rally behind your vision and ensure that the world sees South Africa through the lens of its academic positioning, but also institutions. So with that, I really think for our proposition, I was going to end with an advert that we put together. After having met some of the colleagues here, such as Nombulelo, Dr. Nombulelo, I said to her, I'm going to, if research is telling me that people are searching for South Africa and they're looking for universities, how come Brand South Africa has never made a proposition that says come and study in South Africa? We were very bold. We put this AV, we put together an advert and reflected it globally in the continent, and it was success of that. And we are able to showcase that because we redirected the traffic and supplies in South Africa. We were very bold. We put this AV, we put together an advert and reflected it globally in the continent, and it was success of that. And we are able to showcase that because we redirected the traffic back to Brand South Africa. But my ideal success is not only to create it back to Brand South Africa, is to create an architectural flow of how the university, when we do such work, how does it link back to UNISA? Then I create a leg that goes to UNISA, and I to vets, etc., etc. It just starts as that. But also, you do a lot of academic research. Who do you share it with, particularly when it has to do with the country? So that's where the missing link is. And I think my keynote today is really to say Brand South Africa was founded for a reason. It was founded because somebody believed in this country and wanted to shape how the world sees South Africa. Now, the job of doing that resides between you and I. And I'm here offering my services, and we are saying as Brand South Africa, can you please take a chance on us? And if you're not doing it for you, you're doing it for the UNISA, and you're doing it for the country and the legacy, because these are institutions that will live to tell the history of what we do starting today. Thank you.
A round of applause for Ms. Ntombela. I feel very honored to announce our next keynote speaker, Professor Aaron Lundala Nsakanda from Carleton University. Prof. Aaron Nsakanda is an associate professor of management science and operations management at the Sprott School of Business. Prof. Nsakanda's research umbrella encompasses quantitative modeling using a number of methodologies, all which represent real-world operations challenges. His expertise is his ability to pull from his mathematical toolbox to design a simulated or real-time applicable model as the conduit to tackle today's supply chain complexities. After completing his PhD in logistics and manufacturing management from Laval University and a master's degree in operations management, Prof. Nsakanda worked for 3 years as a senior operations research consultant in the airline industry. A further testament to his expertise, Prof. Nsakanda is one of a selected few elite high-level professionals and industry leaders that help determine the direction and research objectives of the aviation think tank at Concordia University. Please give a warm welcome to Professor Nsakanda.
So people will be following that one? People will be following that one. Okay, yes. Okay, so you will be moving the slide for me. You will be moving the slide for me. Good morning, everyone. I did prepare myself to have access to a screen, so I did not prepare for a speech. I did prepare for a kind of lecture, so I really needed that screen. But I will do my best. I will improvise. Actually, I like improvisation time to time. So what I'm going to talk about? I'm going to talk about adaptation and mitigation strategy to extreme weather and climate events. So the question that I will start with is, if doing research in that field, it is a heaven for a few, can we make it a heaven for a few more? So this is what I will be talking about. I started when I was preparing for this presentation, I started going through a couple of slides, just picture about what has been going on in the past. So the first picture that it was about a couple standing in a field of rice that was completely flooded because of heavy rainfall. So that was the first picture I had. The second one is a man standing through water on a flooded road. This is the road that is used for distribution of goods. It was flooded and it became unused. The third one, it is a picture of that show long-term drought in Nigeria that has led to desertification. Keep going. The fourth one, actually, I will just stop there. I think you get the word. You get the why of this. So I'm speaking in terms of drought. I'm speaking in terms of rainfall and going to that picture. And you may have some stories about this. So what is the common thread between those pictures I was referring to? I am the only one who can see them now. Or the one you have in your mind. So the common thread between all of this is that, according to the proponent of climate change, they argue that those are the physical effects of climate change directly observed in the form of extreme weather and climate event. So, what is the title of my presentation? The pleasure I was expecting to have, I still have it, was to go to those pictures, not to start with the title, and then to present the title at the end of the presentation. Now, I'm changing a little bit. So the title of my presentation, so my core topic is on extreme event. And the title of my presentation is Uncovering Resilience. And I'm going to share with you 4 insights to advance research on adaptive capacity to extreme weather and climate event. So I have 4 ideas or points that I would like to share with you. Some of them are challenges, others are opportunities. So now that this one I cannot show it. I started by defining what do I mean by extreme weather and climate events. So I have those pictures, those graphs that were developed by people from climate science just to explain. So, I mean, if I can summarize myself, is that climate change is manifesting at the second order of variability. What that means? So it is a variability of a variability. What that means? So it is not just about looking to the average condition of the weather, for example, the temperature. Now, we are also we are at a stage that it is not just the average, but we are looking, if we speak in terms of statistic, we are looking also in terms of variance. Okay, hence that variability. So the average inform us about what is the average temperature, what is the average pressure. Now, because of that second order of variability, it is causing more fluctuation, more unpredictability, more extreme weather events. So in terms of, in practice, if I can summarize that, because we are getting much more hot weather, and then when we change not only the average, so through global warming, we get more, it is getting hotter, but at the same time also, the shape, if we can see it as a normal distribution, that shape is going flatter. Now when, let's say it was like this, now it is getting like this. Now by getting flatter, that means the extreme are expanding because of the expansion that are going to the extreme. Of course, they are contributing to have much more hot odor and much record of hot weather. Hence, the manifestation that we are experiencing, we are living through those extreme events. Now, as an outcome, because of those, skip this, because of those extreme, the change, that the variability that we are living of, so we are getting effect like we have heat waves, we have cold waves, we have heavy rainfalls, we have flooding, we have drought, we have hurricanes, blizzard, tornadoes, and so on. So, what are the four insights? We get an idea. We are facing drought. We are facing rainfalls. We are facing flood. We are facing more hot weather. So then now, what? So there are some four insights that I would like to share with you that related to adaptive capability to those events. How we can build resilience, or what kind of research that is going on in order to develop resilience against all of those events. So the first insight, it might be fact, is that the frequency and the severity of extreme weather events are escalating, and because of this is demanding immediate attention, how we can deal with this. However, different countries are at different places in terms of their readiness and their preparedness to confront their impact. So this is the insight, and I have a couple of slides to show this. One of the slides that I had here is that I'm showing an example, for example, in the US, how many events they have observed during 44 years, 383, and how much it did cost them. Lots of money. But just for the last 5 years, they did observe 102 events, major events. So if I can take the average, if I go as many years as possible, the average was like 8.5 events per year. In the last 5 years, they got about 20 events per year. And just in 2023, they got 23, just in 2023. Now, in terms of readiness of different countries, there is this metric that is developed by, it is called NDGAN, Notre Dame Global Adoption Initiative. So they developed the index. When they assess, they provide a score of different countries in the world, how they adapt to their level of resilience to climate change. So lower is the number, less adaptability, and higher it is. Now, you cannot see it, unfortunately. What this is telling us that according to this calculation, and assuming it is right, please don't ask me how they did the calculation. I don't know. I did not do my homework to check if they are doing it right, but we can trust between us as academics. So it is telling us the South, we are not doing well in terms of resilience. I don't know if you can see it. This is what I'm showing here. The North, and this is the South. This is the South. We are not doing well. So in terms of readiness, and we are more interested by our continent, it seems like we are not doing well, and we need to do better, and we cannot expect that other people will do the research for us. So we need to do at least our best to do research in that field. So the insight was that the extreme weather events, their occurrence is increasing, but not all countries are at the same place. We are at different places. And we, in Africa, we are not at the good one. Of course, within Africa, there are differences. Chad is the worst one, according to this score. South Africa is not that bad, but you can be in a better position. The second insight, the impact of extreme weather events is not uniform. So in Africa, the sector that is more impacted is the agriculture. While in North America, the sector that is more impacted is the infrastructure. I have a couple of motivation to explain why in Africa it is agriculture. Please allow me just to skip this. We got the key message. The insight number 3, research into adaptation and mitigation strategy for extreme weather events has served as a haven for a select few. But business school scholars, you are included, you name yourself Collage, can also play a critical role in advancing knowledge in this field. I go by presenting, just using Google and Gram, I just presented the number of publications that has the term climate change, number of publications that has the term extreme weather event. And we can see that the trend is almost the same, starting in the 1980s. The trend is still the same, but we have more publication in climate change and less in extreme weather events. And then I just used, how would you call this, Web of Science, just looking what the research areas that are working in extreme weather events. I just took the 20 top one. Of course, as we should be expecting, meteorology is just up there, followed by environmental science, and so on. We are not there. We are not there. What that means, we are leaving all of this field to people that are working in climate science. Now I can see that there are some work, people that are working in economics, but I did not do a review of literature to see what they are looking for. Are they working in adaptation, or they are working in terms of cost? I have not done that homework yet. And then I looked the countries who are publishing and what is their field, their study subject. So most of the people that are publishing in the field are in the US, or they are studying the US environment. But actually, South Africa is doing well. So among all the number of papers that I have found, I have something like more than 1,000 people from the US or studying US as the territory. And South Africa is, actually it is the first country in Africa that is publishing that in that field, 94 papers in the last 5 years. Not 5 years, but there are other African countries also that are publishing there. Now, for those who have not, maybe have not had the opportunity to read this paper, the paper is, sorry, I have 4 minutes. Oh, I need to wrap up. Oh, sorry. Okay, so there is a paper that has been published in Harvard Business Review, and the paper is pointing that we in School of Business, we can do much more. So the last insight, please allow me a few minutes. Insight 4 is that, and the last one, research into adaptation and mitigation strategy for extreme weather is mainly done within a discipline or among sister disciplines. What we need is more cross-boundary research, and I'm presenting an attempt that we have been working with. So the intent is to develop adaptive capability for a smallholder farmer in South Africa to mitigate the effect of climate change. We are 14 interdisciplinary experts that are coming from 5 countries, Canada, Norway, South Africa, UK, and United States, from 8 universities, 2 research centers, and it involved people from different disciplines. We have meteorologists, we have climatologists, we have agroeconomists, we have hydrologists, we have people in supply chain, we have people in operational research. The difference here is that we are interdisciplinary and we have trans-sectoral. We have people from academia, people from research center, and we have the people from local community and so on. So what is the difference? The difference is that we are analyzing, we aim to develop adaptive capabilities, but we are analyzing this using a supply chain framework. So most of the existing research are focusing the inputs and the farming. So people that are working in climate science, people that are working in agronomy, and so on, they are putting species that will, for example, resist to drought. They will come with technique for crop rotation. Climatologists or meteorologists are developing technique to forecast weather and so on. It stopped there. Now, as a result, of course, the production is increasing. Now, what do we do with that production after that? It is going to the market. To go to the market, that production will have to use some logistic element. It will go to production, it will go to storage, it will go to transportation and achieve the market. And all of those logistic elements have also exposed to extreme weather events. So the gains that are made in one side, they can be lost in the other side. So the idea is, let's work together. People using this interdisciplinary approach and this transsectoral approach in order to try to advance that field. I will stop here, and the question is this research, climate change, is it a few? Is it a heaven for a few? Actually, you can give it. Everyone may have their own answer, but what I will say, we can make it a heaven for a few more. We may have a role to play, but the view that we are taking is we need to be transsectoral, we need to be interdisciplinary. Because when you have people that are working, the meteorologists, the agronomes, the people in supply chain, the operational research are working together, we come with different views in order to advance that field. Thank you very much. I will stop here.
How about another round of applause for such a wonderful presentation? At this point in time, I'd like to call upon our colleagues from the School of Management Sciences, starting with Professor Van Donner, from the Department of Marketing and Retail. Prof. Davis, affectionately known as Mother of All Postgraduate Fellows, and Dr. Van Wyk from the Department of Business Management, Dr. De Bruin from the Department of Human Resource Management, Dr. Machi and Dr. Musekiwa from Industrial and Operational Psychology. Please give them a round of applause.
Right, so good morning, colleagues. Dr. Machichoba, the Dean, Prof. Makanzi, Head of Office of Graduate Studies, and Prof. Delutsotli, the Chair of the Department of Marketing and Retail Management. I want to thank you today for the opportunity to present the research initiatives of our department. So yes, I also had very nice slides that I prepared for the presentation today with lots of visuals. But in the absence of that presentation, I'm hoping that with my voice and your imagination, we should be able to get the message across. Right, so the theme for today is creative research to drive innovative, sustainable societies. And when I then started preparing the presentation for today, I started having a look at the key concepts of that theme, being creative, innovative, sustainable societies. And I just started making notes then in terms of what comes to mind when you actually think about those different concepts. So creativity, if one thinks about it, it relates to out-of-the-box thinking, out of the ordinary, not expected, and novel. Sustainability, one can think about maintained at a certain level. One can also think about the Sustainable Development Goals. And society then relates to various communities, being vulnerable consumers as well as customers in emerging and developed markets. And when one then puts all those ideas together, one can actually argue that the theme of creative research to drive innovative, sustainable societies actually concerns the scientific practices that are out of the box, out of the ordinary, not expected, and novel, and may aid in nurturing and promoting innovative, sustainable societies, with societies then addressing vulnerable consumers, disadvantaged communities, as well as other customers within emerging and developed economies. And what I want to show you today is how our department show our muscle in contributing to these initiatives. So this is now where you need to start using your imagination. Because MUSCLE, M-U-S-C-L-E, is actually an acronym for the various projects that we are doing in our department. The M relates to managing luxury purchasing. The U relates to a project addressing the use of products and applications. The S addresses services marketing. The C addresses customer-to-customer interactions. The L addresses learning engagement, and the E addresses environmental sustainability. Right, so let's go. So the first project that we are doing in our department is managing luxury purchasing. And this project is managed by Dr. Chabata as well as Prof. Delutsotli. And what we're trying to do here with this project is we want to find out more, why do customers actually treat themselves with luxury purchasing? And what are the types of factors that may contribute to these behaviors? Specifically within a pandemic environment as well as in an omnichannel environment. And what we're trying to achieve with this project is to find out more about the vibrant and creative Generation Z consumers. And how do they think? What are their thoughts when purchasing products? And how may their behaviors shape the consumer landscape of the future? Next, we have a project addressing the use of products and applications. So this is the U of the acronym of MUSCLE. So this project then focuses on product purchasing and the user application among South African consumers. The project is also managed by Dr. Chabata and Prof. De Lesotho. And this project is very important to us, specifically concerning the vulnerable consumers. Because with this project, we can actually help to devise strategies and to help the vulnerable consumers to more implement these types of applications, and that may promote their well-being. Then, also with regard to the use of products and applications, we have some exciting news in our department. Dr. Botma, as well as Ms. Jenny Venter, are launching a new initiative. So this is a collaborative effort between the Department of Decision Science, Marketing and Retail Management, and Industrial and Organization Psychology, and they are working together to promote neurobusiness research in the college. So this is a special interest group, and they will launch a series of 6 honor lectures to instill interest among colleagues and to become involved. And the aim will be to working on several neurobusiness projects in the college by the year end. So for more information about these projects, you're welcome to contact Dr. Botma or Ms. Jenny Venter about that. Right, and then with regard to the S of MUSCLE, so we have a project addressing services marketing. And this project is managed by Mr. Joseph Musiki, and he's investigating the influence of word-of-mouth communication on the purchase decisions of Spaza Shop customers in the Meadowlands of Soweto. And this project then is also quite important to us because it promises to contribute to a variety of SDG goals, including SDG 1, SDG 2, as well as SDG 11. Then with regards to the C of MUSCLE, there is an international project going on customer-to-customer interactions. So this is also one of the projects that I am managing, and I'm managing this with a colleague from Australia, the Monash University in Australia, Dr. Stephen Saunders. So at this stage in my career, I'm more interested in developing a new theory for marketing. Now, I specifically focus on customer-to-customer interactions and the helping behavior that consumers provide to other consumers, specifically when companies are not present. So, thus far, we have written a conceptual paper. It was done based on a special invitation from the International Journal of Bank Marketing, which is an A-rated journal, Emerald. And we followed a very creative and unique approach. And we approached helping behavior that consumers provide to other consumers as a form of gift giving. So we then explored gift giving literature, and we identified possible new characteristics of consumers helping other consumers. So the paper concluded then with a list of research questions and an agenda to provide further direction for research. The paper is currently under review, but Emerald already agreed that following the acceptance of our paper, we are going to launch a special edition of the International Journal of Bank Marketing, where we're going to invite scholars all over the world to come and contribute to this research project, and where they can further research these questions and help us to develop a new theory on consumer helping behavior. And this project then I'm going to co-edit with scholars from Australia, United Kingdom, as well as the United States. So then I also have a second project on customer-to-customer interactions. It addresses inter-customer helping behaviors in the fast food industry. So this project is funded by an NRF research grant, and it aims to provide novel insight into inter-customer helping behavior within a service context. The study is to be duplicated in the United States as well, and Burger King has already shown their interest in our research findings. Then with regards to the L of MUSCLE, we have a project focusing on learning engagement. And this project then I am managing with the colleagues in my department, as well as some scholars from Poland. Now the aim of this project is to provide novel insight into customer learning engagement in social media environments. So marketing as a tool for education is becoming more important. And what we want to do with this research project is to find out more about how engaged are customers actually to teach other customers about products and services using social media platforms. So this project was also already duplicated by scholars in Poland, and at this stage we're all busy collecting research data. And the project is also important to us because it focuses on organic purchasing as a research context, and therefore it has promises to contribute to quite a variety of sustainable development goals, including number 3, 11, 12, and 13. Right, and then last, with regard to the E of muscle, it relates to environmental sustainability, and we have quite a lot of projects in our department focusing on environmental sustainability. So the first project is also one of my own projects that I'm managing with scholars from South Africa and the United States. And we have collected data in South Africa as well as the United States, and we provide novel insight into anti-consumption and ethical purchasing behavior. So in other words, we're actually looking at factors contributing to customers, helping other customers not to shop. And this project has already won a Best Paper Award in 2023 at the Association of Marketing and Theory Practice Conference, and it contributes to Sustainable Development Goal 11, 12, and 13. Then I also have another project on environmental sustainability that I'm doing with colleagues from the United States and France. And this project was born from a transformative consumer research initiative, and where we want to investigate AI as a catalyst for sustainable living. We have written a conceptual paper thus far and is currently under review at IMS Review. And we have also won a Best Paper Award on that, the Societal Impact Award in Chicago in 2024. Then another colleague in our department, Prof. Makita, she is also working with scholars from South Africa and Ghana. And they launched a call for chapter proposals, and they want to write a book on sustainable consumption in Africa. And the aim of the book is to assess whether African consumers are actively contributing to sustainable development goals through their consumption patterns and subsequent post-purchase actions. And wait, there's more. So with regards to the E, there are also a number of projects, local projects in our department addressing environmental sustainability. The first one is managed by Dr. Belinda Sinuane, Prof. Witt, and Prof. Nomalelu, and the project investigates adaptation to global consumer norms while maintaining cultural identity in a sustainable context. We also have a project by Dr. Sinuane and Mr. Njambule Mkhize, and they investigate the protection motivation model and the theory of planned behavior to understand consumers' energy conservation intentions. There's a project by Prof. Witt and Dr. Sinuane investigating how consumers perceive the legitimacy of retailers based on their sustainable and corporate responsibilities. Another one by Dr. Chabata and Dr. Sinuane adopting the theory of planned behavior and the experiential value theory to test Generation Z's household solar energy adoption behavior. And then lastly, a project by Prof. Nomalelu, Mr. Mkhize, and Dr. Sinuane, who investigate household water's conservation intention through the lens of the protection motivation theory. So I know this is quite a lot, a mouthful of projects, but what I wanted just to show you today is that there is really a lot going on in our department in terms of research initiatives and how we build muscle in that regard. And we're not only doing that for the love of doing research. Yes, we do love doing research, but also because we realize the important role that we perform in society and how we as leaders and experts in our field may influence behaviors and contribute to a better world for all. Thank you.
Good morning. I have to say this tongue-in-cheek. 2006, when I joined UNISA as a very junior academic, Professor Palmer, and you'll recognize the name, used to say to me, going down to Durban or Cape Town for discussion classes, take a transparencies, take an overhead projector, and some a candle and matches too. And today feels as if we should have brought some transparencies and overhead projectors as well. So we also did prepare a presentation, but I'm sure that Dr. Risa van Wyk, who is next to me, and I will be able to share with you what we wanted to share in terms of our research. So what we did, Prof. Antonda, you have a future perspective on the research we thought that we will be showcasing, and we will take you through a journey of where we were in terms of our academic department and what it means for our research and where we are going. So for us, obviously, context matters, and today's realities and what we research today, the topics that we find interesting, is obviously informed by the decisions that we made yesterday. And in order to do that, we're using three concepts for our presentation. The first one is agenda seeking. The second one is agenda setting. And the third one is agenda confirming. And I've taken those three concepts from an article by Josh Rupkowski, who is a famous scholar in strategy as practice, which is the field that I work in. And she used those three concepts. And the idea with agenda seeking is when we look for new concepts, we look for new terminology, and then we define them. With agenda setting, that is where the community of scholars, where we differentiate ourselves from other fields, and where we defend the boundaries of the research that we work in. And agenda confirming is where we draw conclusions, where we find those explanations, but then we also have connections with other fields and show how everything fits together. So if I say the agenda seeking is the starting point, I also need to confirm that agenda setting, agenda seeking, agenda confirming are all mutually interdependent activities. When we talk context, I reflect on the Department of Business Management. So we wanted to look at the previous decade, the previous 10 years of postgraduate research within our department. 10 years ago, our department looked a little bit different. The college looked different. So around about 2013 at the Senate meeting, our research focus areas methodology was approved for the first time for intake in 2014. So that was almost the first step towards agenda setting in terms of our research focus areas. Within that same time period, we introduced the research proposal module for master's and doctorate students, as well as the new PhD qualifications in 2016. But 2014-15, the department as well as the college saw some changes, and College of Accounting was established. And within the College of Economic and Management Sciences, the 3 new schools were established, and we bid farewell in the Department of Business Management, which was a very big department, to colleagues in operations management, supply chain management, and entrepreneurship. So some of what you will see in the themes that we will highlight for you this morning is still from the history of that context where we started off in a decade ago and how things have changed from then. Very importantly, Irisa and I went through a list of students who've graduated master's and doctorate qualifications within our academic department. We then also took a list of all publications from master's and doctorate studies within our department, as well as accredited research articles from researchers within the academic department. We took that list and we found 14 MCOMs, 14 PhDs, and a list of 75 accredited articles published in that time period. And then we did a very easy, definitely not an in-depth study, but a very easy gut feel analysis to try and identify the patterns within the different topics and to see where we are going, because where we've been gives an information in terms of where we are going. What we offer now is our observations, and I hand over to Irisa. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Our observations concerns methodologies, it concerns the context that we do our research in, and also some of the prevailing topics that emerged through our analysis. Now, terms of methodologies, what we saw is that there's a growing interest in qualitative research designs. Things like the interactive qualitative analysis, or the IQA technique, was observed, the Delphi technique, listening post, as well as thematic analysis. And then in terms of the context, now just bear in mind, the theme for this week's R&I Week is about the social impact, and what we saw in terms of where our society and community is in terms of our research is a continued interest in the SME environment, a growing interest in non-profit organizations, and then some interest in state-owned entities. Now, in terms of the prevailing topics that we identified, there were 8 topics that we identified, and each of these topics play a significant role in shaping various aspects of society. The agenda specifically addresses contemporary issues related to higher education. This is learner analytics, which is now not evident in the slides. Then also sustainable development goal matters, such as sustainability, good governance and morality, such as ethics and responsible management, and then management dynamics and organizational change, as well as data-driven decision-making. Now, interesting was an increased interest in learner analytics, which is not surprising since our department hosts an open distance learning research professor. Now, looking at the context and the topics and reflecting on these, it helps us to understand the impact of the impact that our research is making, and it also helps us to understand how our future research initiatives will impact society, especially considering the shifts in initiatives and the research approaches. Now, going into 2025, there is a new research focus area that will be joining our department that was started by Dr. Karen Stander. It's called Business Remodeling, Rethinking Value and Building an Open Collaborative Micro-Enterprise Network to Achieve Greater Societal Good. Now, this is the case of the Cattle Dog Community Clothing Company. Now, this research focus area seeks to explore the integration of open and collaborative business models with micro-enterprise networks, design thinking, open strategy, and entrepreneurship practices in the South African context, specifically in the textile and clothing industry. Now, the Cattle Dog Community Clothing Initiative is a registered community engagement project in the department, and this stands as a pioneering case study within the research focus area, embodying innovation, sustainability, and community engagement at its core. It also aligns with several of the Sustainable Development Goals, such as Goal 8, 9, 1, 3, and 12. In addition, the Cattle Dog Initiative and then also the research focus area is aligned with some of the niche areas identified by UNISA, and including the marine studies area, which the focus of the Cattle Dog Initiative and the research focus area is on coastal communities, and then also feminist, womanist, and Busari theorization. Now, this isn't the only research focus area that is aligned with the catalytic niche areas. There are 4 others that are aligned now with marine studies, feminist, womanism, Busari theorization, fourth industrial revolution and digitalization, as well as student support and co-curricular activities. One of these 4 research focus areas, the digital business environment and user engagement, is also a relatively new research focus area in our department. Now, the past decade's topics highlight a relative broad spectrum of interest to address societal issues, global issues, priority areas set by the government, and then more recently the alignment of the catalytic niche areas. Evidently, our departmental research agenda is evolving to align itself with society's need, and then looking specifically at the trends and the topics identified in the last decade and going into the future, we envision a greater impact in society concerning future research practices, predominantly in the areas of sustainable development goals as identified in the topics, and then also some of the niche areas including feminist, womanist, and Busari theorization, as well as the fourth industrial revolution and digitalization, among the other topics that our research focus areas are focused on. And then perhaps a greater movement aligning community-based research with our departmental research focus areas, which is what engaged scholarship is all about, to solve societal problems and to inform future practices and not only future research topics. Thank you.
Another round of applause for my colleagues in the Department of Business Management. And speaking of business management, I'd like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the COD of the Department of Business Management, Professor Boya. Please give him a round of applause. Sorry to interrupt the proceedings. At this point in time, I'd like to call upon the stage Professor Godi and Professor Mkansi for handing over of gifts to our keynote speakers. Immediately after that, colleagues from the Department of Human Resource Management will carry on with their presentations. Thank you.
Look for a screen and there's no screen. Can you hear me? Good morning, colleagues, esteemed colleagues from the College of Economic Management and our audience outside. I'm Anita and I will be representing specifically engaged scholarship from the Department of Human Resource Management. And as HR, we normally have props like the rest of the people, nice presentations. But imagine the 10 flags behind me and imagine them representing the 54 countries that we have in Africa. Even go further, imagine them representing the 193 countries that we have in the world, because that is a stretch that our community engagement projects, and now being called engaged scholarship programs, reach in terms of all the research that we do and do in terms of all the people that go through our college, specifically as students and also in our community engagement projects. You will notice from these flags behind me that they have a particular color in common, and that is green, the color of fertility in terms of the South African flag, the fertility of knowledge, innovation, and that is the way in which we grow, and growth being the way in which every community goes for better. Now, from the Department of Human Resource Management, we are dealing with a particular theme this year, creative research to drive innovation in sustainable societies. But to enable that, you have to have a background of human resource management, as I guess a lot of you will still be in the premise that HR typically represents doing all the admin stuff related to people management in an organization, and hand that over to somebody in HR to do, like headcounts and contracts, and who do we employ and who don't we employ, and all of that. But that is so 1920, since we are now on 1920. Human resource management has grown extensively in the scientific field, and our definition lately is extending the contemporary knowledge of business principles and tools in partnering with human stakeholders and of organizations towards its goals, which include the interaction with societies and technologies. So if all else failed here today, a wonderful AI robot would not have been able to speak because they have electricity that they need. It is the human mind and the human capacity coming together in groups that actually excites and drive the way in which innovation is driven. So to enable our projects, and particularly our ER projects that I have to speak on, we have a particular agenda, just like the previous speaker. And our agenda is that of, and I want to show it, well, I can't show it to you, mobilizing people and networks, the networks that we have, mobilizing institutions, the various institutions that we have, and mobilizing ideas, the ideas of the wonderful human mind connected with that of technology. So how do we do the mobilizing of the people and networks? The question there is, who is involved in the process of mobilizing change, and how does HRM work towards partnerships in which all these voices are heard? And in terms of our first speaker, our marketing manager from UNISA brand, from the South African brand, it's all towards UNISA's brand of co-creation. So we're utilizing the academia, the esteemed audience that we have here, our wonderful postgraduate students, our undergraduate students, our various communities, our professional bodies, which today is the South African Board for People Practices. All our qualifications are accredited there, and this year later it will be accredited for the third time, re-accredited technically. We also have a number of industrial psychologists in our department, and we do it for three internal and 2 external projects. So we don't just keep it in-house, we also grow it outside. And then the mobilizing of institutions, well, the question there is, how does HRM intentionally consider the needs and priorities of our stakeholders involved, and what are the strategies for balancing these different organizational perspectives? So we do that through a balancing act. We do that through our citizenship, our expertise. And our expertise, obviously, if it goes towards the community, it is mahala, for free, in terms of Ubuntu. We do it with and for our students, and we do it by our research. When we look at our community, it is the service of practice, it is building the relationships that goes beyond this year's IPMS contract. It goes beyond that for a very long period of time. And then it's mobilizing ideas. Now, our reach, because we are such a very prominent university in South Africa, and because we are so old, the oldest, our engagement with our professional body has reached all the other universities as well. So our students, represented here by the 10 flags in the 193 countries in the world, they move around. They don't just stay in these 10 flag countries, they go beyond. And some of our students have gone beyond our African borders, and they have gone to countries such as Poland and many European countries in North America. So our free projects, we have the Kulisa Ubuntu in Community Engaged Scholarship Project. We have the CATCC Leadership Development Program, and then we have the unlocking of the human resource management potential in NGOs. Now, it is important to understand that although we have here a gap for business, Some businesses don't just start up one morning being big and great. What's wrong? You? Is my PowerPoint online? Wow. You see, HR does it. We rock. Is it going on? Okay, you want to click it? Wait. Is this the right spot? I don't think so. This is not where I put in my stuff. Yeah. You know, these computers are like gold. If they work, you keep them. All right. You see, I should have been the first speaker.
No, it's fine.
Is it going there?
Yeah, it's going to be.
Or not there?
Yeah, here, but online it's there.
Oh, okay. All right, so sorry for the next speaker. We're still where we are. All right, so the Kolisa Ubuntu has a rich history of over a decade. It started off with hospice, and then it moved towards enriching our HR practitioners as they sign off. As you know, our HR practitioners goes into a number of organizations, and because they are seen as leaders in organization, they have a great leadership role to fulfill. So utilizing them, typically in the inclusive mindset era, we have now 2 doctorates that are signed off on this community engagement project, Engaged Scholarship Project, with 3 peer review articles that has already been published, and there is a number coming. So the project is long-term, it's far-reaching, and it doesn't just include 1 or 2 NGOs. In terms of our next project, the Leadership Development Program, we already have 2 peer review articles, and in the peer review articles, we are planning for 2 more. Then there is also the unlocking of human potential for the NGOs, and we are currently in Diepsloot, where we are dealing with NGOs and community engagement, other organizations. What is important is we don't do it for the community only. So we are aligned with the UNISA SGDs. We are aligned with the African Union's 2060 policies, as well as the UNISA catalytic areas. Just to give you an indication, for instance, Kolisa is dealing with good health and well-being. And as you know, it's one thing to go to a doctor and get healthy there, but to get our minds healthy, it's a totally different dynamic in growing our communities. The same goes for our leadership. We are dealing here with leaders and school principals of some of our schools in the worst case scenario type of schools, bad schools, and we are giving them the training that they need to grow and become better leaders, because they are training the future leaders that is probably going to sit in some of our classes. And when it comes to the unlocking of human resource potential, we are training the people there to actually get to know the basic principles in letting their organization flourish. Now, for a business to start, as I said before I was interrupted, some organizations start big banks giving big money to big ideas. But some organizations start small. And NGOs are the perfect space to treat the 3 most difficult problems that we have in the world all over, which is poverty, unemployment, and conflict. So if you start to give attention in training and developing those people in NGOs, you immediately create jobs by means of stipends. And if you start to assist the management of those NGOs in how to do things right, then they don't sit at the end of the day for not actually getting money because their policies and procedures are not in place, which is one of the cardinal reasons why many of the NGOs do not get money to do their work. They need HR policies in place to do their work, and we assist them to do just that because we have the expertise. We are also involved in other two other projects, which is the SMMEs and then a practitioner's involvement. The e-hub, and we have a banner outside here, registered in another department, give training and development opportunities for thousands and thousands and thousands of upcoming wonderful new entrepreneurs. And to enable them to grow, to at least know the basics before they start with their wonderful ideas. To get them together, we have IAP presentations, and look out for that in August. Please attend them and spread the word, because that week that we are spending in giving the training and development and the knowledge over to our community, widespread wherever you have access to internet. Don't just give HR knowledge. It gives over training, development, tax, law, all of that, it's covered there. And then we also have practitioner development. All our industrial psychologists, we have a couple of people involved in those projects from the IOP department, where we assist in putting those people into jobs and attending to their training. So those are the 5 projects that we are involved with, and our communities benefit from that. Our research is growing from that, and our focus is growing small, because everything small that UNISA touch gets big, very big. Thank you. This is the gadget that you have to put it on if you find it. Yeah.
Is your presentation? Yeah. Okay, because I don't have it here.
It's your video. IOP, the last one.
This one. Yeah. And then?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you continue.
I can continue.
It's in there. Okay, sharp. It's fine.
Thank you. Okay, good morning, colleagues. I'm Dr. Maji from IOP. Yes, thanks everyone who organized this event. And I would also like to thank my colleagues that I worked with within our department, IOP, to have this presentation ready. Ours is a two-parter. First, we showcase our flagship research that we did in our department that led to us bridging some gaps. You'll see the things that we did. Unfortunately, you won't be able to see. As previous speakers mentioned, we don't have a projector here. And then we're also going to showcase what we did as a department in the previous year, and then that will be it. So let me start. Our flagship research that we did was done by me, fortunately. It was my doctorate. It was on psychology of shop stewards. I did it at TUT, graduated in 2021. I just want to reiterate that we are psychologists in the School of Management Sciences. So most of the things we do, we look at human mind at work. So don't be surprised that we are psychologists and then we are doing psychology of shop stewards, but we are in this school. So just to give you a context of who are shop stewards, so that you'll understand when I explain later. Do you know who are shop stewards, if I may ask? You don't? Okay, shop stewards, they are employees who gets hired to become employees to work, to become workers, but then eventually they join trade unions and they become trade union representatives. So as a result, they are sort of conflicted. You are working for this employer, but you end up doing things against the same employer. So you are bound to experience some strain, some stresses, and then we thought we must look into their psyche. What happens when they are in this role with all these the conflicts I'm mentioning now? So we needed to do something so that we can recognize them and support them, maybe also from the employer, trade unions, and society perspective. So we did the doctorate, graduated in 2021. From the study, few things came out, obviously the recommendations, but what we did further was to write a book that came out of the study. Majority, the influence was the doctorate. The book was published in 2023 with Van Skeek. It's titled Employment Relations in South Africa, a Psychological Perspective. So the book was not only just written because of that, there was a need from our students who are doing one of our modules, IOP 3704. So that book was also prescribed because for past 5 years, there was no prescribed textbook in that module. So the study also assisted us in writing a book and prescribing it for those students. That was a benefit for us. From the doctorate also, we had a research focus area, a new one, named Employment Relations and Psychology. We also developed a short learning program that started operating this year. Hopefully it will pick up. We only have few students this year, maybe second semester and the years coming. And then from the same doctoral study, there are 3 articles that we are coming out, 1 already out, 2 are accepted, and then there were 2 conference papers in the past. And then, like our previous speakers that we can't show and tell, we wanted to show you the book that was published, also to share with you the research focus areas, to show, and also to show you the actual SLP that we developed and implemented from this year, and also to show you the articles and conference papers that we also have from the study. Basically, what we are saying is that in line with what the college is doing, this flagship research in our department did make some social impact in terms of all the things I just mentioned earlier, a book, the research focus area, the new SLP, and obviously there is a new empirical and theoretical knowledge that we produced in the field of shop stewards. If you Google shop stewards South Africa, you might not find any other thing except if you're looking for articles. Most of the things you're going to find, it will be Maji, UNISA in the world. So we are happy about that. And then obviously the textbook, the prescribed academic textbook, new editions are coming, as is a prescribed textbook, so that our students continue to have the best relevant current information. All right, the second part of our presentation was to showcase what we did as a department last year, 2023. We have a welcome message from our HOD, COD, who is the acting director now, Dr. Mapala. I can't read that, I think in the interest of time. And then we wanted to show you that last year we had 14 research focus areas, but this year with the one I just mentioned now, we have 15 research focus areas in our department. And then we also have NRF-rated research professors in our department, and one of our professors have applied. Hopefully he will get a rating this year. We are very positive about that. And then also 2023, we produced 29 articles, 1 textbook, 14 book chapters, and then 36 conference papers in our department. So we are a very small department, mind you, less than 20 academics, but we are trying our best. And then in terms of capacity building, we appointed a postdoc fellow, 1 so far, and a research fellow also 1 so far. And then we have 11 external supervisors, just to assist with our M&D research endeavors. And then this year, academic year 2024, we admitted a total of 97 M&D students. That is from our masters. We have a coursework masters, and then we have a full-time masters, as well as our coursework, doctorate, consulting psychology, that's what we call it, and then our full-time dissertation doctorate. So all in all, as a department, we are happy with what we have achieved so far. We hope it's inspiring to some of our colleagues and our current students and our aspiring students. Thank you.
Thank you, School of Management Sciences. There is indeed great work being done in that school. We now move on to my home school, the Dynamic School of Public and Operations Management, starting with the school that celebrated 100 years last year. It's 100 years. And from that school, we have Professor Neela, representing the Department of Public Admin Management, followed by the dynamic duo from the Department of Operations Management, and lastly, 3 young, recently graduated PhDs from the Department of Applied Management, being Dr. Labelani, Dr. Matsoma, and Dr. Maosi. A round of applause for my school, please.
Doesn't have the board. Right corner. Old school.
Old school.
I will send it to you afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me check it.
You can just give me some indication of the time. Well, I have 15 minutes. Good morning, colleagues. Thank you for this opportunity to tell you about our department. I don't have to tell you how good our department is. You all know it by now. Department of Public Administration and Management within the school. I want to share with you this unbelievable project which we have. I started it off, I like to brag with it, 7 years ago. It was a small one-person affair, and my COD since then, 2 or 3 of them actually joined in this holistic attempt of getting, you will not believe me, but we are the biggest Department of Public Administration in the whole of Africa. We have 33 colleagues. Some of them have, almost most of them have doctorates, a lot of professors, a lot of skills, a lot of years of experience. And our COD started to say, but everybody must be involved with this community engagement project. And for the past 2 years they have joined in, and it's unbelievable to see how the synergy is actually developed between 33, can you imagine 33 researchers going out into our laboratory? It stretches from Krugersdorp right up to Klerksdorp and Ventersdorp. It's an area of 7,000 square kilometers. Some of you might know the area very well, the West Rand. From Krugersdorp, Western area, Carletonville, Potchefstroom, Klerksdorp, Ventersdorp, and it's on the area which is undermined by gold mines. I'm sure you know that those gold mines go down the deepest in the world, 2.5 to 3.5 kilometers underground, straight down. You don't travel in a lift, you fall in a lift, 3.5 kilometers. And unfortunately, the second issue is that it's geologically underlain by dolomite rock. And you've seen the TV now the last year or two since we've been having, due to climate change, and due to the total population and the built-up areas having a lot more tarred roads, interlocking paving, so the surface water coming from the actual rain, the speed of surface water has increased, and that's why the sanitation and stormwater systems of the municipalities are not keeping up with the actual development due to the number of people. So it's a human infected variable due to all of us. You know, we are close to 70 million people in this beautiful country of ours, and we all want to stay closer to the CBD, closer to the railway line, the bus, etc. So you cannot force the people out. But please go and see what's happening between Krugersdorp and Stilfontein, Klerksdorp, Kuma, areas like Ventersdorp, the horrible, horrible setups that actually realize there, it's human settlements gone horribly wrong. And I promise you, you might be flabbergasted with the previous government, the current government. The problem is too big. You have so many mines, you have so many gold mines who have been left. Blyfureitzig mine, can you imagine what happened in 1964? The first time when they punctured the dikes at Blyfureitzig mine, and the actual, due to the dewatering of the mines, which the previous National Department of Water Affairs in 1960s gave the permission for them to pump out the water to get to the gold lying at depth. And the Oosthuizen family was the first family on the morning of 4th of August 1964, where the house actually during the morning hours imploded, fell into a sinkhole. I think the depth was about 100 meters, and they were buried alive. A family of two, a mother, a father, 3 children, plus a servant outside. They were buried alive, and that was the first accident. And luckily, since then, we haven't had that type of incident yet, because we have become a lot more sensitized on the dangers of a gold mining area, the underlying threats of dolomite, and now the ingress of surface water due to climate change. Our rainstorms have become a lot more vicious because the speed of surface water has actually increased, flowing over the roads. We cannot manage it. I don't know of a single municipality in this country who can actually manage it. You need a lot more qualified engineers, a lot more bright engineers from Japan and Germany again, to actually try and solve us that. It's going to cost us billions and billions of rands and years to actually address it sensibly. Or then, what's that beautiful word? Engaged scholarship to create a sustainable environment. So we in this department, we are public administration and management. We know a little about rainfall and sinkholes and potholes and geology, but we just know enough to be dangerous for ourselves as well. So we were so thrilled to see how we got our department together, and how we had the Honorable Dr. James of our community engagement pushing our whole college towards a holistic approach of all the available skills. We just had a movie shot, a 60-minute and a 20-minute and 10-minute storyboard shot 3 weeks, 4 weeks ago under the guidance of Dr. James. We have a beautiful movie of the West Coast already, of the West Rand already, West Coast also, but I mean the West Rand gold mines, of Mariette Lieferink, FSE, Federation for a Sustainable Environment. So we have so much information, and basically it boils down to, we look through the glasses of public administration and management at issues happening in, let's say, action research style. Geology, mines, accidents, a kid falling into a toilet at a school, drowning in a sanitation furrow. Unfortunately, it's going to happen any moment. And that's why we, through our glasses, I got so nervous and so actually engaged that I needed to get a 4x4 vehicle. I need to get out to that spot where the sinkhole is falling on the N12. Can you imagine the sinkhole that fell in front of Unitas Hospital? The dolomite of Littleton, the dolomite of Centurion, I mean, how is it possible that in 2020, when that wall fell in right in front of Unitas Hospital, and it's still there. They've only put a piece of wire around it. The municipality said the problem is too big. They have 47 sinkholes across Centurion alone that have to be actually tried to work out how much it's going to cost to actually fill it up. So I'm really flabbergasted that we've settled people in areas that they should never have been settled there. If you look at Swartkops Airport from the top, aerial Landsat photos, the actual landing lanes are put down between very clear sinkholes from the top. How could they establish an airport right next to the Fountains Nature Reserve? Why do you think Fountains is a nature reserve? It's because it's fraught. It looks like a cheese, a blue cheese with the sinkholes. You cannot develop a township there. You cannot put people there. And yes, it was the previous government, and the current government actually inherited it, but it's a worldwide issue. It's not a rocket science. I know it's a rock science, Dolomite rock. You can say yes, but it is a rock science. But how come our government, and not our government only, go on Google and show me the sinkholes in the rest of the world. You'll be amazed how even the very developed countries, rich countries, are being caught with their, inverted commas, pants down when a sinkhole falls in. So I don't know what we should do, but I just love to get my whole department stimulated and involved, and now suddenly we're not just looking, I used to work for water affairs and I was a geohydrologist technician, so I looked only at water supply. Now it's water supply, sanitation, human settlements, even gender management, even the actual involvement of the youth. I just called a list from our own UNISA ICT to try and get me. I'm very impressed with my 33 colleagues in the department, but I would like to get some more people to assist us on the ground, the surface out there. I asked them to get us a list of all the students staying between Krugersdorp and Klerksdorp and Ventersdorp in that triangle. I would like to give you a time to guess, but I'm trying to race down. Can you believe it that they found 776 students from UNISA staying within that 7,000 square kilometers? 776 of our students actually reside in one of those townships or cities or towns. Then I asked the system, but okay, put in a filter, how many students of our college? Okay, that was the college, 776. I asked them, what about my school? The school, 176 students reside in the area. I said, but okay, what about my department? 27 students. So I cannot wait to get there. I get goosebumps. I cannot wait to get out there to go and meet those students, because I now have their home addresses, but I don't have their surnames, male or female or nothing. But I've got their home addresses. I'm going to visit them, and I'm going to pick them up to go to the next forum meetings. We have 4 forum meetings per year. Wonderfonteinspruit in Carletonville. We have the Mooi River in Potchefstroom. We have the Midvaal at Orkney. I'm going to arrive there with a combi. I will have to, sorry, am I finished already? I'm just getting excited now. I'm going to arrive there at those meetings with the UNISA combi with 9 or 10. It will look like a rent a crowd attempt. But I would like, and some of those students, another thing, it was only the students honors level, postgraduate. I didn't ask all students. Postgraduate students, 776 of this whole college. Now, I've got 2 PhD students there. I've got about 9 honors students. No, 9 masters and about over 25 masteral honors students, doctorate, masteral, honors. I want to arrive at these forums. We are peaceful activists. We are not going to burn down or break down anything. But the press is there. It's citizen representation forums called the Wonderfonteinspruit, Mooi River, and in the Midvaal. And we are going to start to listen what those people say. Everything they have, all their agendas, all their minutes are actually available to us. It's public information. So yes, ethics clearance, has been sorted out. So I'm going to arrive there with those people, and they will be our ears and faces on the ground. And I'm going to introduce it to my department. I've been retired for 3 years, and I still call it my department, Public Administration and Management. I'm going to introduce these people living in those horrific circumstances, environments. You have a question? All right, then I will finish. Like I said, this PowerPoint presentation is available. We are optimally available, even 24/7. We answer all our cell phone calls. We want you engaged. It was beautiful to hear about all the projects of the different departments, but we still function in silos, apart from each other. We should actually start to play around. I love the latest. I'm finished off of that. I've got Professor Anja du Plessis. I've got Professor Meissner, Richard Meissner, political science. So the things are starting to happen. I see some glimmers of real quality engaged scholarship and community engagement starting to actually surface. It's not about the articles. It's not about the outputs. It's getting the people involved. We need some urgent, serious, let's say, smart solutions for some old, wicked problems. Thank you, G. Oh, this is yours. I almost stole your computer.
Colleagues, do we have someone from the Department of Operations Management? It seems not. I will now call upon the lit trio, Dr. Labelani, Dr. Matsuma, and Dr. Maosi.
Good afternoon, colleagues. Good afternoon, colleague. Once more, I'm Dr. Matsuma, and I'll be presenting my PhD study about, the title is Developing a Procurement Framework for the South African Clothing Industry. It's a fairly new published study. The study was informed by lack of government support and influx of imports in the clothing industry. By the way, 74% of the entire clothing and textile and footwear is imported. And also by the fact that all of these compromise the procurement practice, and it also results to job losses, and there are closure of many clothing manufacturing industries. So there's also issues of non-compliance with social and environmental standards. And most of these clothing manufacturers are not registered with CIPRO. So the study identified variables of procurement practice that may be aligned with policies, sustainable practices, and existing challenges to improve performance. So failure to align these variables might lead to lack of resources, finance, technology, lack of local buying, and policy compliance that may further cripple the industry. So the study developed a framework for procurement practice that enhance socioeconomic objective, and the research objectives that were achieved was to determine how procurement is conducted in the clothing industry, and the policies and regulation that governs procurement in the clothing industry, and also the value of procurement in the South African clothing industry, and also to investigate to what extent sustainability in the procurement value chain is achieved in this industry, and also the challenges that this industry is faced with. It also determined the differences in application of procurement practice by clothing manufacturing stakeholders. So this study designed a framework for procurement practices. It paid attention to variables of procurement practice such as demand planning, strategic sourcing, contracting, enterprise supply development, and strategic partnership. These variables were aligned with government policies and regulation, particularly the BEE, the Industrial Policy Action Plan, and the National Environmental Management Act. Also, aligning all these with sustainability practices variables such as social and environmental practices, and also support. So aligning all these variables may lead to socioeconomic objectives in terms of job creation, localization, competitiveness, and sustainability. So this study, it's in line with the National Development Plan of the government, which plan to achieve 60% localization in 2030. However, this study is proposing 80% localization. The study also provides clothing managers, owners, and specialists in procurement with a recommendation and a practical framework for procurement practice that may enhance performance, revitalize the industry, and promote job creation as well as local economic development. So it contributes to the body of knowledge regarding the prominent role of procurement in advancing socio-economic objectives. So from this study, colleagues, 3 papers were submitted for publication to international journals, and 2 papers will also be submitted for presentation as well as publication to an international conference. So also through this study, we are eyeing on collaboration with local clothing manufacturers as well as the government, such as the Department of Trade and Industry, the DTI, as well as Proudly South Africa. There are more expected publication from this study, and with that said, I will say let's support localization and let's industrialize our country. Thank you.
All right. Good morning, colleagues. My name is Dr. Raberani Patuchezo. I will be presenting my PhD studies. Right. My topic is the influence of supply chain management systems on agricultural business in Vembe district of Limpopo province. What have been formed this study? The implementation of supply chain management for agricultural business has been lagging because government was only focusing on small farmers. Now, the government did not reach all the farmers due to poor implementation of supply chain management systems. That did not reach medium and large scale farmers. So in other words, in the past, the government didn't look at other farmers, but it was only focusing on small farmers.
Could you please put it on the screen?
Sorry.
Right. Senzana? Utayiko right. Okay. Sharp.
This one. Yeah. Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
Thanks so Thank you so much. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Wembe district produces not less than 4.4 of South Africa total agricultural output, including 8.4 of the country subtropical fruits and 6.3 of its citrus. Of this was taken from the Wembe website. The study purpose and objective and also theoretical framework. The broad aim of this study is to explore the influence of supply chain management systems on agricultural business in Wembe District Municipality of Limpopo Province. Right, the study has 4 objectives. Objective number 1 is to assess the state of supply chain management and administrative capacity of Wembe District Municipality as a developmental local government. Number 2, to examine the influence of supply chain management system on agricultural business in Wembe District Municipality. Then objective number 3, to identify the factors that enables and hinder the success of agricultural business in Wembe District Municipality. Then the last objective of this study is to recommend the supply chain management policy and strategies that will support the agricultural business within the Wembe district, of which this was discussed briefly in the literature review. Right, then the study developed 3 theory triangulation, of which we do have the resource-based view and the institutional theory, and deeming the theory of total quality management. The reason of adopting the resource-based view theory is because of its sustainable competitive advantage. And the reason of adopting the institutional theory is the rules and regulations in the agricultural businesses that were implemented. Then the reason of adopting the theory of total quality management is the high standards of work in the organization. Right, the contribution of this study from the gap found in the literature regarding supply chain management system and the agribusiness in the rural context. This research has probability to the one that has identified the extent to which supply chain management system influence agricultural business in Wembe district in the form of improve of profitability, supply chain reliability, sustainable operations, and improve communication. However, the study's sustainable contribution is to lead to more robust, efficient, and resilient agricultural sector in the Wembe district, benefiting the economy, the environment, and the local communities. However, this study also has published 4 articles to the accredited journals and 1 article still under review. At the end, this study have implemented the model of which is being used by the farmers today, of which a lot of farmers, they are coming for consultation on how the model work in the agricultural business. Thank you.
Colleagues, good morning. My name is Brian Nwako Maosi, and I'm presenting my study, which was named The Role of Business Networks in the Sustainability of Small and Medium Enterprises. This is a study that I did with Northwest University. Just to start off by giving you a picture of what the study is all about. South Africa is currently facing a problem of a high mortality rate of SMMEs, with over 80% of them failing within the first 5 years of existence. And this further finds semblance in the fact that our unemployment rate keeps on increasing, and it causes various social ills in South Africa. And we can also further say that it is also exacerbated by the fact that participation in the local business environment is not so high as compared to other emerging economies around the world. And a very interesting picture is presented when one looks at the fact that when you look at foreign nationals who are in business, especially in the tuck shop sector, they are doing very well, they are performing very well, they are profitable and so on. However, if you take that against local South Africans and match their performance, it's a fairly different picture. And it seems that foreign nationals have some kind of competitive advantage which they've gained from the power of group dynamics. And this is what the study is all about, to study what's the power of those group dynamics. The study had one primary objective and 6 secondary objectives. Firstly, the primary objective was just to analyze the potential role that business networks play in the growth and sustainability of small and medium enterprises, and this was done as a comparative study between foreign nationals and South Africans. And we had 6 secondary objectives, like I said. However, I'll just mention a few. Firstly, to identify that which makes foreign nationals to succeed in South Africa over South African business operators, and then the other one, to determine if the foreign nationals use the same methods in their own countries as well, or the methods are different in their own countries. Then lastly, we developed a sustainability policy framework which will be used for the growth and sustainability of SMMEs in South Africa. There are 2 assumptions that the study made. Firstly is that foreign nationals are succeeding because they work in groups as compared to in isolation, and South Africans are working in isolation, and that's why when we look at the current picture of the tuck shop space, we are seeing South Africans failing dismally. The theoretical framework of the study was based on 2 theories, one being the theory of business networks, and secondly, the theory of change. With the theory of change, one might wonder why was it relevant? And it was relevant because we make an assumption that in the past, in the apartheid years, and even just before the dominance of foreign nationals in the tuck shop space, we saw that South Africans were mainly only in the tuck shop space. However, as soon as the foreign nationals entered the space and started dominating, South Africans lost control over the space. And then the study was a mixed method study, which had 300 questionnaires which were distributed in South Africa. And then secondly, qualitative interviews distributed and administered with 20 SMME operators in South Africa and 22 in Bangladesh. The contributions of the study, there's a book that is currently underway, published by Routledge, and it is based on the informal sector and its role in sustainable economic development in BRICS plus countries and the global south. And then there's another one which is also linked to this, but it is more on the tourism side, which I'm working together with Nosipio Mahlangu and Lesedin Duna from our department as well, and that one is to be published by Springer. And we have other professors from BRICS countries who are working together with us. There's a conference paper that has been presented, and then also work in progress papers that were presented at various conferences. 2 articles have been submitted for publication, and then there's a project that is in the pipeline to train informal business operators in the tuck shop and retail space. Thank you.
Thank you, Department of Applied Management, as well as the Department of Public Administration Management. We have been informed that the Department of Operations Management is here, and Ms. Siabela will do a presentation for us. Ms. Siabela.
Very short. Good afternoon, everyone. As introduced, the name is Rebecca Skaulelo. I'm here representing a company called PPS, the Professional Provident Society. We've got a very good relationship with the university. I'm here representing the Department of Operational Management as well. So I was tasked with a very important task today to just introduce you guys to PPS, to say as much as you guys are professionals, we're all sitting in this room and we're presenting our papers. And somewhere, somehow, we need to come back and look after what we call our finances, which is our day-to-day bread. So PPS is one of those companies that are linked with you guys as graduate professionals, assisting you guys to look after your finances. So PPS is an exclusive company. It's only for graduate professionals. It's been around since 1941. If I say graduate professionals, it's very exclusive in that it only you can only take out products with us if you've got an NQF level 8. Imagine going out there and you're looking for insurance and they're asking for your qualifications. So those of you that are sitting here with your PhDs and masters and doctorates, please understand that there is a company out there that's specifically designed for people of your status, I call it, okay? And the reason why it's like that is because it's a mutual company. Mutuality meaning that we don't have what we call external shareholders within the organization. Our members are actually the shareholders of the company. So every year when we declare our dividends, our members also get a share. And it's been like that. It started by 8 dentists back in 1941 who were worried about what's going to happen to them in an event that they are all sick at the same time. Okay, so one of them got sick and they had to come together, assist that one dentist to survive, make sure his practice is running, and it was devastating. I don't know if you guys have friends like that, where when you're sick, they all come together and assist you. And if you don't, you need to join the PPS family, because those are the people that are going to look after you in an event where you can't do your day-to-day duties. So I think from today, I'm just going to let you guys know that we are outside. We do have a stand outside. If you want more information about what you do, you can come down and inquire, and we will give you more information. We also have a nice lucky draw at the end of the session where there's 1,000 Rand up for grabs, 1,000 Rand Unitrust voucher to kickstart your investments. Okay, up for grabs, and you can come complete your details, and we're going to do the raffle, and one of you guys can walk away with that 1,000 Rand. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Another round of applause. At this point in time, I'd like to call upon the School of Economics and Financial Sciences, represented by Prof. Mkize from Department of Economics, Dr. Ndo and Dr. Sibindi, Department of Finance, Risk Management and Banking, and Prof. Mashele from the Department of Decision Sciences. In that order, please. Thank you.
Presentation mode. Presentation mode. It's going to be online.
Good morning, colleagues. My name is Jabu. I'm Kiza from the Department of Economics. I'm just going to take us through some of the initiatives within the department in its partnership with ECOMOD and the envisage project to look at establishing a center for modeling and data science. So that's in terms of my outline. The department had a partnership with ECOMOD is dated as far back as 2019. ECOMOD itself is a world-leading research advisory and educational network who is dedicated in promoting advanced modeling and statistical techniques in the economic policy and decision-making. They are also involved in a number of research training workshops with a number of governments as well as central banks across the world, including assisting with analysis within the World Bank as well as IMF. I've indicated that we started this partnership in 2019 with ECOMOD, and part of our areas of collaboration with ECOMOD is on the exchange of scholar, professional staff members, and as well as academic information, which is part of our MOU with ECOMOD. And also part of our collaboration is on the joint coordination of conferences, summer schools, and seminars and lectures. We have also identified joint research programs and publishing academic and professional journals as one of the key areas of collaboration. Within the summer school that we have with ECOMOD, that we run with ECOMOD, we have been offering a course on practical general equilibrium modeling using GAMS, and we found that to be very much interesting within South Africa as well as across Africa and even within the Asian countries that have come to attend that program. So far, we had graduated about 20 participants from various countries. The participation by ECOMOD as part of this collaboration also includes the involvement of network of economists in our budget breakfast sessions that are hosted by the college alongside the Department of Economics. And we have also, as I've mentioned, plans underway for a fully funded exchange program or staff exchange program. These are some of the candidates that have participated in the ECOMOD UNISA Department of Economics program. This is when we started in 2019. And you can see the number has grown. This is the participants when we were in Durban, when we hosted the summer school in Durban. And I must say the interest has been growing, but we were sort of sidetracked by the impact of COVID because we couldn't have contact sessions. Now, in terms of the Center for Modeling and Data Science, we said we need to take our partnership a step further to look at establishing a Center for Modeling and Data Science for the reasons that we view that modeling and data science should be the key pillars for policy formulation in any institution or government. And so we want to enhance that aspect. Within government, we are faced with, and even other institutions and businesses, of course, which large numbers of decisions that we have to take. And a lot of these decisions, you have to simulate a realistic situation within a model environment. So for science-based policy, you need to have good science, good data, and analytical tools, and also couple that with skilled people. So that's why the aspect of training within modeling is also important. This is just to say that a model is a purposeful representation of a real system. You take, for instance, a physical model where you have to run experiments, use observed data, to come up with a representation of a real system. So even in this case, we have mathematical models. I've mentioned use of CGE modeling through GAMS, where you, with the observed data, we're able to present or offer a representation of a real system. And you can apply shocks and to see if you apply certain shocks, what is the impact on the economy and so on. But with that said, there is no one-size-fits-all in terms of model. You have to come up with various models to fit different scenarios. So these are the types of models that with ECOMOD that we are offering, some of which have not yet been immediately offered, but through the Center for Modeling and Data Science, these are some of the models that, types of models that will be offered through the center. In terms of application, these can be applied within government, in terms of fiscal policy, taxation, budget policies, labor market, regional impact assessments, as well as within the private sector in terms of transportation, airports and stations and supply chain, logistics, production processes, and so on. And we are, as institutions, we are viewed as custodians of research, and so we view the establishment of a Center for Modeling and Data Science to have an impact in developing quantity-based policy formulation. With those words, this is what we wanted to present, and thank you for your hearing. Thank you.
Good afternoon, colleagues. My name is Dr. Ndou from the Department of Finance, Risk Management and Banking. Let me start by extending the word of appreciation to the following people: the CEO of Banksita, Obed Bashavane, who is with us here today, Mr. Jeki Malachi, Senior Manager, Consumer Goods and Service Ombud, who is also with us here today. And then also to our doctoral and master students that we have invited, and colleagues from our department. A special appreciation to Prof. Sibindi and Ms. Kruger for preparing this presentation. As a department, we are committed to becoming a global leader in research and training within the banking and finance industry. So we have two pillars there, which are world-leading research, industry collaboration. So our main aim is that as we do research, we have to collaborate with industry. And that's what we are doing, and we intend to do for the foreseeable future. Then we have our programs in masteral and doctoral level, where we are producing quality students who can go further in their lives and continue with research. So those are our masters in financial management, our doctorate in financial management as well. So I'll only pick up only those. Now we have research focus areas. Actually we have 7 in our department, which is financial markets and investment, risk management, alternative finance, sustainable finance and investment, financial literacy, digital literacy, and also financial socialization, fintech and financial inclusion, and also development finance. So these are our focus areas where we invite students to apply so that they can come and study in our department. Our focus areas are led by highly experienced, prominent researchers who have established themselves in terms of publications and also contributing to the society. Our theme here, as we have seen, is fostering research and innovation for societal impact. So we don't just do research for the sake of doing it. We do it because we want to impart and have an influence in the society that we are living in. As a department, That's what we strive to do, and that's what we were actually doing. So in doing that, we have some engaged scholarship projects that we are currently involved and we are pushing. And from these engaged scholarship projects, we also do research from them, and we are also publishing. So we have the financial literacy project, the CFA project, which is headed by Prof. Marozwa. The financial literacy is headed by myself. And then we have the risk program headed by Dr. van der Westhuizen. So we pride ourselves and we want more collaboration with industries so that they can come and join us in these endeavors. So I would like to share the current projects that we are actually doing in the department. In total, we have 30 projects that are being conducted. This includes articles, books, and book chapters that several colleagues in our department are actually engaged in. So we pride ourselves for what we are doing to contribute to the college and to the university at large. I'm not going to go into detail of the published work. If there was a machine, if it was working, you're going to see that this is a department with a lot of outputs. We are actually doing well when it comes to research outputs. So, although maybe you are not seeing them, you can give us a round of applause for that. Yes. So also in terms of the production, in terms of doctoral graduates, we only selected from 2023 to 2024. So we've produced almost 17 PhD. So we are very proud of the colleagues in the department who are actually supervising. So we are very proud as a department. So lastly, we'd like to showcase and invite you for upcoming conference, the 9th International Conference on Financial Services, which is going to be held at the Emperor's Palace. That is in October, from the 1st to the 3rd of October. We're going to have discussions there. We've secured the speaker, the Governor of Reserve Bank, Mr. Lisisha Hanyaho, will grace that occasion. So the call is out. So please, colleagues, support our conference. That's my story for today. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, colleagues. Afternoon also to our guests. My name is Upolam Philip Mashele. I'm from the Department of Decision Sciences. Well, Dr. Ndo gave some numbers, big numbers, how many papers they are publishing, how many students they have. Well, I'm not going to go to numbers, even though I'm a number person. The reason is that in our department, we have been seen as a department that produces few students, MNDs, and also publishing fewer papers. Well, there's a valid reason for that. There are actually two reasons. The first reason is that we are a department that has to keep up with the market trend. So whenever there's a financial crisis, we are so excited. We love it. Because that's when now we publish more papers. Now, if there's no financial crisis, then we suffer. So that's why we have few papers. We have seen during COVID, we published more papers. During the financial crisis in 2008, we published more papers. Because this is exactly what we love. Not necessarily that we like it, we just, the second reason is that I'm going to present you the research groups. We have about 6 research groups. Now, by just paying attention to the names of those groups, then you understand why there are few students coming to us. The first research group, pay attention, computability, complexity, and randomness in decision science. So the group is under the leadership of Prof. Safari Mukeru. The group analyzes the interplays between probability theory and stochastic processes, compatibility, complexity, and apply them to study fine properties of stochastic processes. Now, the students, when they hear the word complexity and randomness, then they don't want to be in that space. We should understand that. The second group, computational intelligence and data science, under the leadership of Prof. Catherine Malande. Now, here we are talking about the AI experts. People who not only are inspired by robotics, but they make robotics. They ensure that we are living into this modern life. So these are the people who focuses on both fundamental research in computational intelligence technologies and applied research in the form of data science projects to address problems in context of South Africa. So if IT consulted these people before this meeting, we could not have this. Yeah. The third group, mathematical methods and its application. This is the interdisciplinary research group which focuses on developing new mathematical techniques associated with special functions in graph theory, approximation theory, differential equations, and nonlinear equations. I mean, if you hear those words as a student, you will certainly run away. But we are encouraging students to come because this is where they should be if they want to make robots and produce mathematical models. Now, the fourth group is under my leadership, quantitative finance and its application. So the group studies and applies techniques from stochastic processes, approximation theory, machine learning, control theory, and so forth. Now, here we are taking from the three groups, information from them, then we apply it here. So there's 3 groups that are more into mathematics, deep mathematics, and deep data science and machine learning. So for us, we take information from what they are doing and we apply it to price derivatives, to do things like portfolio optimization, also to help banks to manage their risk. Okay. So even though we might sound like we are theoretical, we are also practical. Right now we have a project that is going on. I've invited our leader here, Prof. Cody. So we are working on some big project with the Gauteng government. So they need us because now they need some of our expertise. Now the 5th group is health, socio-economic modeling. The group addresses challenges arising in public health, finance, economics, and a whole range of other real-world problems of interest using mathematical models. So, Prof, we have a number of experts in mathematical modeling. So in case you want to apply for a position as an extraordinary professor, I will consider your CV. Then the last group is a soft operations research. It's fairly a new group. The group is under the leadership of Prof. Sonepul. The previous group, health and socio-economic modeling, is under the leadership of Prof. Mutimu. Now the last group, soft operation research, the research group provides a space for research that takes the human element into consideration. So this is fairly a new group. We have in our department a lab. So that lab, this is where the group will use that lab to do their research, because that research takes into consideration the human element. Okay. So in the future, the plan that we are having, colleagues, is for us now to come out and say, if you need assistance when relating to mathematical modeling, when relating to statistics, when relating to data science, don't go to CSET, come to us. I've already assisted some people from ICT. I've also worked with IOP. We are also encouraging our team to also collaborate with other departments. As we have heard with the previous speaker, we are also going to establish what we call a neuroscience. So that neuroscience research group will be an interdepartmental research group. So I think I can stop here, even though I had more to say. Thank you, colleagues. I don't know. Should I just move it? Thank you very much.
Thank you, School of Economic and Financial Sciences. I think we need Prof. Mashele to debrief again to fully understand all those terms that were used right now. Dr. Kafayat Amusa is our acting college coordinator for M&D, and she will come speak to us very briefly as we are pressed for time. Sorry to do this to you, Dr. Amusa, about the master's and doctoral agenda in the College of Economic and Management Sciences. A round of applause, please, for Dr. Amusa.
Good afternoon, colleagues. All protocols observed. I'm actually going to be speaking about Top Chems Club. So I'm actually introducing to some colleagues and in some cases reintroducing Top Chems to the college. So I'm going to speak about what is Top Chems, what is the club, how do our students qualify to be members of the club, what are the benefits of being part of the club, just to touch on the 2023 launch of the club as well, and then a little bit on the 2024 recruitment drive that we have just undertaken in the Office of Graduate Studies and Research, and just also on the 2024 plans of the club. So how do we situate Top Chems within the context of research and innovation? So you might ask, how does Top Chems fit in the R&I space? So in the last few years, academic institutions, including universities, have begun to realize the importance of research and knowledge creation and innovation that addresses our socioeconomic and political challenges. And as part of this awakening, universities have begun to explore ways of amassing populations of graduates that are able to contribute to research and knowledge creation through, for example, the development of skills. And this, colleagues, is where Top Chems comes, the Top Chems Club comes in, to provide a supporting environment with opportunities and training within which the club members can enhance their knowledge and skills, and also ensure that they are able to contribute to country, continent, and global solutions using research and innovation. And that is why speaking about the Top Chems Club is important this afternoon. So what is the club? The club was founded to recognize the hard work and efforts of our students in obtaining their qualifications with honors, with distinctions. So the club rewards top-performing honors and master's students who have enrolled for their next qualification in the college. In addition to that recognition, the club aims to provide an opportunity for its members to enjoy a more enriched academic experience. So the club is designed to unearth the full potential of its members, our students, as academics and valuable contributing members of society. So how do our students qualify? I've had colleagues asking me these questions 1 or 2 times. So it's very simple. There are actually 2 criteria to be able to be eligible for the Top Chems Club. Number 1, you must have obtained your previous qualification, either your honors or your master's, with a distinction. Number 2, you should be currently or about to enroll for your next level of qualification in the College of Economics and Management Sciences. That's simple. So what are the benefits of being part of this club? There are many, so I'm just going to highlight a few. So the club provides an opportunity for its members, as I said, to experience a more enriching academic experience through a number of ways. Number 1, we have exchange programs with other academic institutions in the country and globally as well. We have funding opportunities for our members. We have opportunities for them to develop their skills and partake in grant writing projects. We also have them as part of a talent pool for the industry as well, so job creation, and also the support to provide support to our students, club members, for them to be able to establish start-up companies. So those are just some of the highlights of the benefits that this club offers to our students. So I had a very nice, you can't prove that, but I had a very nice presentation as well. So the club was launched in 2023, April 21st, and we identified 159 students who had obtained their qualifications, honors, 159 honor students, and master students in 2021 and 2022. And in 2023, we had the honor of welcoming 19 students into the club. And so the 2024 recruitment drive kicked off in February. By the Office of Graduate Studies and Research, we reached out to our students who had just completed their qualifications with honors. And we had 150 honors students that met our criteria, as well as 15 master's students. And so this year, we're looking forward to welcoming our new members as well. So in terms of 2024, what do we have ahead to come? In a few days, on the 30th of May, we are having our Top Chems Club meeting and masterclass here in Korong from 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock. And so we're looking forward to that. And part of the masterclass is going to be given by Mrs. Penny Streeter, who is a member of the Order of the British Empire. and she's one of the most successful women entrepreneurs in South Africa and in the UK. And so we're looking forward to our students sharing her experience and having to ask her questions. We talk a lot about building entrepreneurs, and so this is an opportunity for our students to also tap into that. So our aim essentially is to expose our students to the opportunities in front of them and to ensure that they are well situated and supported to embrace these opportunities. So we hope that our students use the support that we provide to them as a launching pad towards their own contributions towards productive and effective innovative research that brings solutions to socioeconomic challenges, not only for South Africa, but the rest of the continent and indeed the world. Thank you.
Another round of applause for Dr. Kafayat. Colleagues, we are now heading towards the end of our program. The good news is that the lunch will be served at Examination Hall 2. And it's for free, by the way. For a vote of thanks, I'd like to call upon the stage my employer, the one who's going to ensure that I get paid for services rendered, because I'm not doing this for free, by the way. That is Professor Mashiam Gansi. Please give her a round of applause.
Talk of adaptation and resilience in practice. I think CAMS managed to showcase its meaning without a projector. Can we give CAMS a round of applause? It has been truly a great showcase of groundbreaking research, innovation, agendas, including but not limited to opportunities that exist for us to partner with industry, including PPS, Brand SA, Benita, Akenmod, and if I didn't mention the industry and the company, please know you are very included as well. And to our amazing program directors, can we please give them a hand of applause? I actually have some gifts for you, and I would like to hand them to you in... Yes, please, you can bring them, and we appreciate you both. Starting with Dr. Marco for your brilliance. Thank you very much. We are proud that we have people like you in the college. Mr. Mama Bulwa, please, and tomorrow as well, even if we don't pay. Thank you. Colleagues, I just want to highlight a few things as a wrap-up and a summary of our R&I that emerged. We have been invited by Brand SA to use our research, to optimize our research to brand what South Africa is about. She has highlighted several examples emerging from different universities. For example, the innovation by Prof. Mashudu, cheap solar power innovation by Prof. Vivian, students around the countries, including X-ray innovation from Hammarskjöld, and encouraged us to use our research to inspire and to reposition our college and our country in a transformational manner. We also were encouraged by Prof. Sakanda to consider cross-sectoral research and interdisciplinary research in our pursuit to address societal challenges. He used an extreme weather event example or case to highlight the physical effects of extreme weather events, and he gave us key insight that could help us to reimagine and reposition ourselves moving forward. He emphasized the escalation and frequency of extreme events, and I believe South Africa has experienced this firsthand in KwaZulu-Natal, in Cape Town, and in Limpopo and many more other provinces. Highlighted the fact that this impact is not uniform. And in Africa, we are badly impacted, and according to the Notre Dame Index, that we are not well positioned in terms of resilience and adaptation strategies. Highlighting most importantly the impact that extreme weather events have on one of the critical resources of Africa, and that is agricultural sector, and how our research is less prevalent compared to other fields such as meteorology, environmental sciences, and that we need to work together to make sure that the gains that have been observed in one area, if meteorologists and climate scientists manage to come up with innovations that help to gain and reverse some changes, we don't lose that through transportation emission, through logistical elements. Moving forward from our keynote speakers, our schools of excellence and departments, I couldn't be more proud of you. You highlighted key issues, key scientific agendas, initiatives that are taking place. Just to mention a few, School of Management, using MUSCLE as an acronym, Prof. Antonder articulated the creative zest of purchasing luxury products, promoting well-being, neuroscience business research, service marketing and customer-to-customer interaction, and some of environmental sustainability research that we can now take to work with other scholars. Prof. Davies and Dr. van Wyk shared with us how we can better situate and have an agenda-seeking setting and confirmation, giving us insights into methodology, social impact, and the research focus areas that are available for our students and our partners to join us. Dr. De Bruyn emphasized the need to mobilize networks, emphasizing and highlighting the key footprint that our research has demonstrated in terms of impact across Africa and the world. Dr. Maiki shared milestones relating to social impact generated from a stream of research outputs that gives students, practitioners, and scholars insight into the conflicting interests of shop stewards and their psychological perspective. We move on to public administration, the School of Public Administration and Operations Management. Prof. Nila, with his passion, shared how as scholars and showcase how we can be activists, how we can be on the ground in the community, making sure we minimize some of the critical issues that we see locally, including dolomites, deserted gold mines, human settlement issues. We're moving on to our newly crowned Dr. Matsumoto, I hope I'm pronouncing the surname quite well, who shared insights on the need for localization and making sure that we re-industrialize the apparel or retail industry, clothing retail industry. We also heard from Dr. Rabelani on agricultural business in Bembe district and many more other young scholars that shared with us issues of how to optimize the collaborative and the power of unity in economies of scale. We heard from PPS and their invitation for us to partner. And lastly, to the economic and financial sciences, Prof. Mkize showcased initiatives with Acomment and invited us to join the initiative on partnering on data modeling and data science, or Center for Modeling and Data Science, and also the summer schools and its impact on training. Dr. Ndo highlighted our key collaboration with various industry and acknowledged our industry stakeholders. You are welcome, and we are very honored to have you with us here. Finishing with an invitation to the 9th International Conference in Financial Sciences. Prof. Mashela presented different research groups that are available and invite industry, government, other universities, and our postdoctoral communities to join us on issues that relate to computational intelligence that can help us avoid some of the projection issues, mathematical methods and its application, and how it is applied to optimize industry risk, optimize business processes, reduce risk, and health and socio-economic modeling. Finishing up, Dr. Amusa highlighted a prestigious club of the university, Top Camps Club, the first club in the entire university that is giving our students first-hand experience of outstanding leadership, entrepreneurial insights. On behalf of the College of Economic and Management Sciences, I wish to extend my sincere thanks to our sponsors, to industry members, our hardworking academics, institutional management that creates a conducive environment for us to thrive, from the VC, Prof. Linkambule, Prof. Mewa, Prof. Labos Khachni, the Directorate for Research Support, our deanery, school directors, amazing chairs of departments, and our talented program directors. Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity, and to our keynote speakers, without whom this R&I will not have been complete. So thank you very much.